Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pammy and on here I'm doing all things clean beauty. So thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Now today is going to be such a fun video because today we're going to be creating a fall look together. All of my products are going to be 100% cruelty free and of course most of them are vegan as well. So without no further ado, let's just go barefaced and let's get this fall look rolling. Alright you guys, so I am barefaced right now and I wanted to start off with the Lip Whip by Grande. This is the cinnamon naked version, so it doesn't contain any peppermint. It's a really nice lip balm, I really enjoy it. And I usually put it on before I put on my makeup. I just like to put this on to prep my lips so they're a little bit smoother and softer in case I would use a liquid lipstick or something. You'll never know, sometimes I might use something a little bit more drying, so I just like to have it on. Now the next step is to actually prime my face. Now actually in the fall time, I like to kind of balance my face in terms of priming, so I like to apply somewhat of a little bit of a mattifying primer and then go in with more of a gripping primer. So I've recently discovered these CoverFX mattifying drops. They're really nice. I think they do contain some alcohol though, so if you don't like that, this might not be for you. But I'm just gonna use a couple of these drops and just put it where I usually get oily on my nose and around here, a little bit on my chin, just in the middle, and obviously around here. This is really where I get the oiliest throughout the day. So I just like to push it in a little bit more. And these drops, they take like a minute to dry, so they actually soak in quite quick. Now for the rest of my face, I do want to continue with my favorite primer in clean beauty. So this is the Ilia True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. This is just one of my favorite primers ever. It just has the nicest sort of gripping effect without it being like jelly or sticky or anything. And I mean, it sinks in like a serum, comes in this dropper, and I just take a couple of drops. Alright you guys, now my primer has sunken into my skin. What I really love about this primer too is the fact that it actually leaves your skin also a little bit radiant. So let's move on to the foundation. I have truly found a foundation that works wonders for me. Now I talked to you guys already about how much I love this foundation, and it's still true, I love it. It's like my favorite foundation ever. Now this is the Beauty Care Natural Second Skin Color Match Foundation. The only slight issue I was bumping into was the shade. I used to use the shade 1, and the shade 1 works perfectly for me in terms of lightness and darkness. The only thing that did not completely wow me was the undertone. It's slightly too pink for me. That's why I got myself the shade 4. So the shade 4 is a little bit darker, as you can tell. This is the shade 4, this is the shade 1. So it's a little bit darker, but it's definitely neutral. So the only thing I have to do is use the shade 4 as a base and then add a couple of drops of the shade 1. Now, why is this my favorite foundation? It's so lightweight. It is very buildable. Now you're gonna get a medium to even a full coverage with this. So if you want something that's gonna feel like a feather on your skin, that won't feel heavy, that won't feel cakey, that just has the most beautiful texture, this is definitely a foundation to try out. It really does feel like your second skin. I was like really worried about the wear time. That's always one thing that really worries me because I do have this combination skin and I do get oilier throughout the day. This did not break up on me. Now I will have to say the finish of this foundation is a little bit too dewy for my liking, so I have to set it with powder. But I would recommend that anyway. If you set it with powder, it's just all gonna come together and I don't know, it's just locked in, you know. This foundation is also vegan, of course it's cruelty free, and the ingredients are very pure. Now this is an aloe based foundation, so that's gonna really make a difference also for you guys if you have dry skin. Now I feel like this foundation can be worn by pretty much every skin type. And that's really what's baffling about this. And it's baffling that it's lightweight, that it's somewhat of a full coverage foundation. I mean, you can build it up. It's not going to look like full coverage on the first layer. But everything about this just wowed me. And it just literally ticked off all the boxes that I kind of have, you know, in terms of expectations for a foundation. So yeah, really surprised by this. I'm just gonna put back my hair. I actually like to apply it with a brush first, and if I see that there's any streaking or any unevenness, I dab it in with a sponge afterwards. Like, I would not suggest going in with a sponge straight away because it might soak up your product by quite a lot. So I'm just gonna shake this up. This has the nicest smell too. I think there's vanilla in this too. It really smells like a dream. So I'm just gonna take like 2 drops of this lighter shade. I like to mix up my foundation, the shades. So what I like to do is dab it onto my face first. And then I like to work in sections, although you don't need to because this is not like fast drying or anything. It's very flexible. So you guys, as you can see, I achieved some very full coverage. Most of the foundation is gone. It's almost completely gone right here. So I've used what, like 5 drops of this foundation? Just, I mean, in terms of squeezing it out, probably around 5 to 6 drops. I mean, this just feels so lightweight on my skin, and the amount of coverage level, I mean, this is a dream foundation. Since this foundation is always so full coverage, I never feel the need to go in afterwards and spot conceal. So I don't even think I'm going to go in with a spot concealer. However, I do want to conceal my under eye area, so that's what we're going to do next. I do want to use a concealer that works very, very well for my under eye area, and that's basically the Juice Beauty Phyto Pigments Perfecting Concealer. This is very full coverage, and I've been loving this. I mean, you can tell I've been using this quite frequently to put on my under eye area because this is one of these rare concealers that actually does not crease on me and looks amazing throughout the day. Plus the coverage level on this is insane as well. I would say with the Lilah B one, the one that has the most coverage out of all the concealers I've been trying. At least the concealers that come in a little pot like that. I do want to mention though that this concealer by Juice Beauty has as a first ingredient coconut oil. So if you are planning on getting this for your spots and you break out from coconut oil, just don't do it. I'm fine with it, putting it on my under eye area. However, I don't really like this as a spot concealer. Although it has crazy amount of coverage, I just think the consistency, it works the best for your under eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dot this on here. I always like to warm this product up a little bit as well because it kind of has like this really weird whipped like consistency, and I just put it on here, and just a little bit on here. Oh yeah, by the way, I have the shade 08 Cream. It's a little bit of a yellow undertone, but that's okay because cancelling out some stuff. But look at this coverage, I mean. So I just like to start tapping this in with my finger actually first, and then I go in with a brush. Now I took a little bit of the concealer also onto my forehead and also a little bit on my chin, just because I realized that the color difference was a little bit too striking for it just to stay under my eyes. So I just wanted to even that out a little bit more. The next step I want to do is something I always do in my makeup routine every day. Like, I will not go out, leave the house without this. This is my Lilah B Virtuous Real Concealer and Eye Primer in the shade b.vibrant. Now this is my absolute favorite product for eye priming. Just look at this dent. It's like I'm literally every day, you know, using this. So the reason why I've been loving this so much on my eyelid is because it's such a great eye primer and it doesn't crease on me. But I realized my eyelids are so oily. It will crease on me if I put it on and don't put powder on top of it immediately. So because I do want to already put the primer on and conceal this part, I mean my lids and everything, my upper eye, I'm gonna actually set it, and I always set it with the same powder as well. I always set this concealer with the 14E Cosmetics Aloe, Nourish, Prime and Set powder. I just literally dip my finger in once. Like, this is all the product I probably need, maybe even too much, and then I'm just gonna blend it out with a brush. So my Lilah B concealer is set already, so let's also do that for the rest of the face. Now for the rest of the face, I want to use a powder. I love it. This is the Kjaer Weis pressed powder in the shade Translucent. Been loving it so much to set my makeup, and it also works very well for my under eye area. I'm just going to start with my under eye area, and then I'm going to take the powder and set my entire face with it as well. Okay, so my face is all set, powder applied, so let's move on to the fun part. Let's move on to some colors. Let's start with the bronzer. So this is the Pite Beauty Duo Bronzer. I really love this bronzer. I'm not sure if I've ever showed you this bronzer, but it's such a nice bronzer. Oh my gosh, I love it. So the way I love to apply a duo bronzer, now this is the matte side, this is the shimmer side. So what I like to do is go in with the shorter side, now the denser side, on the darker side of the bronzer, and I just like to tap this side into the lighter one, this one into the darker one. I just tap it off a little bit, and then I take the brush with the shorter side and I just go in and swipe it up where it's darker. So in a way you're diffusing both of the shades correctly, you know? And you don't have to mix, because sometimes I see people mixing. You don't really have to do that if you apply your bronzer this way. And I just always release the brush, you know? And I just take it back, and I always do the same swipe. This bronzer works so well with my skin tone, it's so nice. Plus the shimmery side is not overly shimmery, it's so not patchy. It works just so well. I really love this, and I think this is pretty cost effective as well. So for the blush today, I want to use the Antonym Baked Blush in the shade Rose. This is such a pretty blush, isn't it? It's so beautiful. Oh my god. Honestly, this is the very first blush I'm trying by Antonym. And Antonym, I mean, I've tried their foundation. I wasn't a fan of the foundation, but they strike me as a very sort of eco-friendly, conscious, like clean beauty brand. And it's simply stunning, this blush. Like, I mean, this blush is so nice. It has the prettiest shade and it just looks kind of fascinating. I feel like this has the best pigmentation ever. Like, you can build this up and you don't have to worry to literally dip in that brush and go in, which I really love about a blush because I'm always scared to go a little bit overboard. It's pretty and perfect. So yeah, But I wanted to use another blush just to cool it down a little bit. So I also have the Pite Beauty blush in the shade Exhale. Now this is a matte blush too. Now this blush actually, to be honest with you, it is so fair. It is very light. But what it does, it's actually bringing the warmth that I just added to my face a notch back and cooling it down a little bit. It's such a nice blush. Like, I love it. And I have another shade by Pite, and I think that one is called Hustle. That's like more of, I think that's even a shimmery one. And it's definitely a lot warmer. This is definitely cool toned. So I'm just going to go a little bit onto the apples of my cheek. I really honestly love this color. Looks so nice. And this is actually perfect for me for fall time. I don't know. I just think it's perfect. I mean, could work in the springtime too. But I think it's still a little bit warm, cooled down with this shade now. So let's move on to the highlighter. Now for highlighter today, oh, that was a struggle. It was so hard to pick one. But I've been reaching for one like constantly. And I love it just so much. So this is the RMS Luminizing Powder in the shade Grande. It makes the top 5, let's put it that way. It's so good. So I'm just gonna highlight where I think I need it. This has the most beautiful skin tone, like almost like gold, but not gold, being champagne, but not champagne. It's just so hard to describe the shade. Like, it's definitely a little bit gold. I feel like this is the most comparable to the Ilia highlighter, if you do know that one. I mean, this highlighter is just, it's out of this world. I love this so much. It's so stunning. So that's my complexion all done. So it's time for my eyes now. Now for today's eye look, I did not want to create, you know, the standard sort of fall look where you just basically go in with a tons of like warm toned browns, orange, green, red. I was just kind of like, I mean, I could do that, but I wanted to do something a little bit different for the fall. And this is basically the look that I would personally want to wear in fall. Now you can wear this look at any season, you know, but I kind of prefer this for the fall time or for even winter time. I would not really do this look in the summer per se. I am going to use one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes in the world. So I'm going to use the one by Lawless. Now you can use this palette to create any sort of look. The only thing you won't see in this palette is green and blue shades. Just kind of a little bit of a bummer, but okay, we get it. You know, we want to stay a little bit more on the safer side. So I have to go in with a different product later on, but that's for later on. So for right now, I want to create my base with these colors. Now these colors are so stunning. The formulation on this palette is absolutely awesome. Now I just will say one thing, not everyone is going to like the formula. Now the formula is a little bit more powdery, but I love the way this blends. This is probably one of my favorite things about this palette is that they blend and they are buildable. So they won't have the really strong, craziest pigmentation that you'll ever see in a palette. I think you can really build them up and have so much fun with this. Also, if you want to get into eyeshadows and you want to learn more about eyeshadows, I think this is a great palette to start off with, but you do need a little bit of knowledge about eyeshadows and how to work shadows to be working this to its full potential. They actually do also carry another palette, which is called the Little One. It's basically a small version of the bigger one, but as you can see, I mean, of course, this has some other shades. The only shades that are the same is the white and the black. Both of these are in this as well. All the other shades are unique to this palette. I might just use that one from that palette, but we'll see if I'm gonna use this at all. So let's start off with the big one. Now what I like to do for this look is actually just use the shade First Base, which is a white color, and I am going to just literally place that all over my lids. Mainly I'm going to keep the white in this region where I want my shadow to look bright. So yeah, they do have a little bit of kickback, but that's okay. Wow, you guys, I just made one hell of a mistake. I just put on the very first shade without having my eyebrows done. Of course I'm gonna do my eyebrows before I do my eyeshadow. I don't know why I didn't do that. I completely forgot. So I'm gonna use the Hourglass Arc Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. I love this one. This is the shade Warm Brunette. Alright you guys, so my eyebrows are filled in, so let's move back to the eyeshadow palette. So I just put down the shade First Base, that's where we left off. So I'm gonna start off with the shade Complicated. I'm gonna put that in my crease, and now we're actually gonna start building up color. Now this shade is very mustardy brown. It's gonna have a little bit of yellow. But we're gonna cancel all of that out later, but it's just really nice as a base in the crease, so yeah. So I'm gonna move on to the little one, that palette, and I'm gonna take the shade, what's the shade called? Pony, and it's described as a matte golden brown. There is no description on the other palette, but I'm gonna go in with this shade right here and take that onto my crease as well. Basically layer it on top of the shade Complicated that I just used. Now I do want to use this shade DTR right here. I'm going to go in with that shade on my outer crease and literally darken the edges a little bit. That's the shade Play Cool. Now this is a really pretty color, but it's very, very cool as a brown. What I want to do is just put it a little bit on the edge, and I also want to drag this shade down later on. So let's just do that. So I'm going to put an eyeliner in my waterline. I'm going to use my Pacifica. This is a skin toned eye pencil. I'm going to take the shade Play Cool and actually drag that down my lower lash line. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the black shade, the shade Plunge, and I'm just going to put that also on my lower lash line, but literally on the outer corner. So I'm going to go back into the palette, and now I want to play with my favorite shade in this entire palette. It's the shade Crushing. I mean, it's simply crushing as the name says it, but it's just the most beautiful rose gold shimmer shade in the world. But we're gonna put that all over the lid, and this is... let's actually take it also on the brow bone, the shade Crushing. Just a little bit. I do want to go in with something else, but I'm just gonna layer this a little bit though on the brow bone. So I want to go in with two really cool products. Now I want to use the Pied Beauty Glam Glitter Gel. This is the shade Iridescent. And I want to use the Bodyography Glitter Pigment in the shade Hallow. Now this is an icy glitter, whereas the Pied one does have an iridescence to it. So that one has a little bit of blue, green and pink. I'm going to go in with the Bodyography first. Now the trick is to not use too much with this one. This is so soft as well, so you just like need a little bit of a dip. Like just a little bit, you know, that much, like nothing. You just rub it in between two of your fingers so you don't have too much on one finger. And then it is gonna go in. When you work with these glitter pigments, like just make sure to really like wipe off your hands, because I mean, I can already see some glitter particle on my nose. This glitter pigment is so pretty, and the shade Crushing underneath it really helps it to not be too cool toned, like to be super icy. And that's what I love about this fall look, because it does have this iciness, but still some warmth in it, you know? So we're still not done though. I still want to go in with the Pied Beauty Glam Glitter Gel. Now this is a little bit more fast drying. What I like to do with this is basically go into the inner corner and maybe also a little bit on my brow bone. This is going to be super spacey. And sometimes I like to even take it up a little bit on here. So let's do that. Okay, you guys, I feel like that's my eye look done. Now I love it. I honestly feel like this is something I would completely wear in the fall time. So yeah, let's move on to the mascara. So for mascara today, I think my Roen Cake mascara. I love this mascara. So good. So I'm gonna use that today. And then we're like done with the eye look, but I'm just gonna curl my lashes and then I apply this. I love this mascara. I love this mascara. This mascara makes my lashes so dramatic, and I don't know, it just lengthens them, gives them the most crazy feathery look. I really enjoy it. Let's move on to the last step. Let's move on to my lips. So yeah, for this lip, usually what I like to use for this kind of season, and in general, I love this shade. This is my Lawless lipstick in the shade Suede. This is such a beautiful nude shade, and I'm so tempted to actually put it on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put on some liquid lipstick today. I'm going to put on the Clove and Hallow liquid lipstick in the shade Cupcake. Now, these are super drying, you guys, and I would highly advise you to put a lip balm on beforehand. And you know what? I'm going to go in a little bit more with that balm. So you do want to make sure that you have something on your lips before you go in. And I think it's going to match my eye look pretty well. So I'm going to go in with that. Okay, so this is the shade Cupcake. I'm going to go in with the shade Ellie J. Same formula. This is just a little bit of a different shade. I'm just going to put it in the center. Just a little bit. I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, because this is going to dry down completely matte. I'm going to top this off because now it has dried down. So I'm going to use my Lawless High Shine Lip Gloss in the shade Glazed. This shade, ugh, it's like so good. So let's top the lipstick off. It looks very dried down now. Okay. and it's just so nice worn on its own. I wear this so much. One of my favorite lip glosses in the entire world, especially on top of this liquid lipstick. Amazing. Please do let me know what sort of makeup you're using in the fall time. I would be really curious to know. And if you enjoyed this makeup look, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. That would be very much appreciated. And you guys also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, just have to hit that button. I would be very happy to have you on here. And also don't forget to ring the bell to stay notified about my upcoming videos. And I shall be seeing you on here very soon with the next one. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.